The Company of Three, a novel of love, laughter, and life in Santa Monica. Chapter 1. The Golden Hour. The Santa Monica sun hung low over the Pacific, casting a long, amber glow across the shag-carpeted living room of apartment 201. For Jack Tripper, it was the hour of quiet chaos. He stood by the kitchenette, the scent of sea salt and cheap cologne clinging to the air, listening to the rhythmic sounds of a home that shouldn't, by any traditional standard, exist. Jack was a man of many secrets, but his greatest was the depth of affection he felt for the two women he shared this space with. Janet Wood, the sensible florist with eyes that saw through his every farce, and Chrissy Snow, the blonde whirlwind of innocence, who managed to make the most mundane sentence feel like a riddle. "Come and knock on our door." Jack hummed to himself, his voice a low baritone. He was a culinary student, a man of flavor and heat, yet here he was, playing the role of the platonic brother to keep the peace and to keep their landlord, the perpetually suspicious Mr. Furley, from throwing them out onto the street. "Hi, honeys, I'm home," Jack called out as he swung the door open, dropping his bag. The response was immediate and sharp. "Why didn't you knock first?" Janet's voice rang out from the kitchen, her brow furrowed over a steaming pot. Jack grinned, that crooked, boyish smirk that usually got him out of trouble, because we might not have been decent? "Exactly. It's all right," Jack teased, leaning against the counter. "I looked through the window first to make sure." Janet rolled her eyes, but a small, affectionate smile played at the corners of her mouth. "Well, that's okay then. Here, Jack, as long as you're here, why don't you help Chrissy put up the new shower curtains? I need to get something out of the oven." Jack paused, sniffing the air. A peculiar, acrid scent was beginning to compete with the aroma of the evening breeze. "Hey, wait, when did you take up cooking?" "I haven't," Janet replied curtly, her face flushing. "I've got some underwear drying in there. Don't ask." Jack chuckled, a sound that died in his throat as he realized the domestic task ahead of him. Shower curtains. Right, the final frontier. Chapter 2. The Farce in the Bathroom. The bathroom was a cramped, tiled sanctuary where the steam usually smelled of lavender soap. Chrissy was already there, standing precariously on the edge of the porcelain tub, her blonde hair tied back in a messy bun. "Jack, just hand me the new curtain, and then you can go. Okay?" she said, her voice lilting with that signature sweetness. "No, Chrissy, I can't do that. You'll fall and break something, and Janet will blame me for the next 3 decades. I'll get it." He stepped into the small space, his shoulder brushing hers. There was a moment brief, electric, where the comedy of their lives faded, replaced by the simple reality of being young and close. But the moment was shattered by a sharp, rhythmic pounding on the front door. "Oh, hi, Mr. Furley." Janet's voice drifted from the living room. "It's nice to see you." "Don't get your hopes up," came the gravelly, theatrical tone of Ralph Furley. "This is not a social call. Today, I'm wearing my landlord hat, and I want to see the man of the house, unless he's busy painting his toenails." In the bathroom, Jack froze. He and Chrissy were standing together in the tub, trying to navigate the heavy plastic folds of a floral-patterned curtain. "Okay, Chrissy," Jack whispered, trying to steady them both. "I'll get in the tub with you, then we can get it on." "Okay, Jack," Chrissy whispered back, purely focused on the task. "Hey, next to me, I'll show you what to do. This isn't exactly the first time I've ever done this." "Maybe so," Jack grunted, struggling with a stubborn ring, "but girls are better at this than boys." "Come on, Chrissy," Jack urged, his foot slipping slightly on the slick surface. "A little less talk and a little more action, okay?" "Okay, you do your part, I'll do mine." "I don't think it'll reach." "Of course not," Jack hissed. "You've got to unfold it first." The door to the bathroom creaked open. Mr. Furley stood there, his jaw dropping so low it nearly hit his ascot. His eyes bugged out as he witnessed his tenants, the man of the house, and the innocent secretary tangled together in a bathtub behind a half-hung curtain. "Mr. Furley?" Janet appeared behind him, her face pale. "Mr. Furley, what are you doing?" Never mind what I'm doing, Furley sputtered, his face turning a shade of magenta that matched his leisure suit. What are they doing? Nothing, Jack shouted, jumping out of the tub so fast he nearly took the rod with him. Oh, don't give me that. I heard, Furley pointed a trembling finger. Rub-a-dub-dub, come hop in my tub. I heard all of it. How'd you get your clothes on so fast? Furley demanded, looking at Jack with a mix of horror and baffled admiration. What? What are you talking about? Jack stammered. The misunderstanding was a whirlpool, dragging them all down. Furley, convinced he had stumbled upon a scene of Roman debauchery, was eventually shamed into an apology by Janet's righteous indignation. He beat a hasty retreat, muttering about his own shame, leaving the trio in a state of breathless exhaustion. Chapter 3. The Fall. Boy, I have never seen anyone so ashamed of doing nothing. Jack laughed, leaning against the doorframe as Furley's footsteps faded. I'll be right with you, Chrissy. Let's finish this curtain before... A dull thud echoed from the bathroom. Then, silence. Chrissy? Jack's voice lost its playful edge. Chrissy? What happened? Are you okay? He rushed back in to find her slumped against the tiled wall, her eyes glazed. Oh, I slipped in the tub, she murmured, her hand reaching for her temple. I banged my head. Jack felt a cold spike of fear in his chest. Oh, Chrissy, I told you never to wear your boots in the bathtub. He scooped her up, she felt impossibly light, and carried her into the living room. Come on, let's go sit down. Sit down on the sofa. Just focus, okay? He knelt before her, his hands trembling as he cupped her face. How many fingers do you see? 5, she whispered. 2 in a V and 3 folded down. She's normal, Jack breathed, looking at Janet. Or as normal as she ever gets. But the levity didn't last. A massive bruise, a goose egg, was already rising on her forehead. Janet, usually the pillar of strength, looked like she was about to cry. The night took a turn for the surreal. Later that evening, when Jack found Chrissy wandering the balcony, dazed and confused, the comedy died completely. Jack, will you put me down? She complained as he swept her up to carry her back to bed. No way, Jack said, his voice thick with a sudden, protective ferocity. I'm taking you to bed, whether you like it or not. Fate, however, had a cruel sense of timing. Mr. Furley, returning for the 3rd time to remember a forgotten message, witnessed the scene. To him, it was the evidence he had been looking for. I caught you red-handed, he yelled. Mr. Furley, it's not what it looks like, Jack screamed back. But the landlord was already spiraling. No Roman orgies here, or else, Furley warned, his voice cracking. But then, Chrissy swayed. The world tilted. Whoa, Jack. Everything just got sort of blurry. The humor vanished. The room went cold. Let's get her to a hospital, Jack said, his voice hard as flint. Right now. Chapter 4. Seaport Hospital. The fluorescent lights of Seaport Hospital were unforgiving. The air smelled of antiseptic and old coffee. Jack paced the waiting room, his hands shoved deep into his pockets, while Janet sat huddled in a plastic chair, staring at the floor. Why did he have to take so much blood? Chrissy had asked earlier, her voice small and frightened. It's my head that got hit, not my blood. Jack had no answers. He only had the memory of the doctor's grim expression. Doctor, Todd had spoken of inner ear disturbances, which sounded manageable, but then he had whispered the words that haunted Jack's mind. Cranial hemorrhage. Clot. The worst. It's late, Janet, Jack said softly, stopping his pacing. Why don't you try to get some sleep? How could I sleep? Janet snapped. Then her face crumbled. Chrissy's in there. We don't know. We don't know anything. I'll make some nice warm milk, Jack offered, his own heart breaking. No, Jack. Nothing's going to make me shut my eyes tonight. How about some nice Scotch tape over your eyelids? Janet looked up, a tear tracking through her makeup. Oh, Jack, I know you're just trying to lighten the mood, but it won't work. I'm scared. Janet, remember, the doctor said it's just a possibility. That's all. Gosh, Janet whispered. Chrissy isn't just my roommate. She's my kid sister. She's my biggest aggravation. And she's the sweetest, the best friend I ever had. Jack sat beside her, letting her lean against his shoulder. She's going to be fine. They sat in the silence of the hospital, two souls bound by the love they shared for the girl behind the swinging doors. They reminisced about her dumb stories, the time she thought a telephone extension was a financial plan, the time she wanted a 2-foot cord because it only had to reach her ear. "She is going to be okay, isn't she?" Janet asked, looking at Jack with desperate hope. "Somebody always watches out for kids like Chrissy," Jack promised. But inside, he was praying harder than he ever had in his life. Chapter 5. The Midnight Misunderstanding. The morning sun brought no relief, only a tired, grey light. The doctor finally emerged, his face weary. "How's Chrissy?" Janet jumped up. "Oh," the doctor sighed, thinking of the whirlwind of nonsense Chrissy had put him through regarding her father, Reverend Christmas Snow. "She can go at any time." The words hit Jack like a physical blow. She can go at any time. In the language of hospitals, he heard only the finality of death. He didn't hear the subtext of a discharge paper. He didn't hear the relief in the doctor's voice.